Let's bring in Peter Andersen, Chief Investment Officer with Andersen Capital Management. Let's hear about the shorts first, Peter. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Yes, so the shorts, what I've done is I've done the same process, Kelly, to identify long positions, but ones that are real stinkers, so to say, in this screening mechanism. And what I've come up with are Peloton, Zillow, Carvana, and Netflix. And these companies are not hedges against my longs. You know, there's a lot of long short managers that do that. They try to do pair trading. I'm not doing that. I'm saying that these are companies whose business models are broken, that did see some very attractive performance and demand during the pandemic. But when you strip that all away, the business models just aren't durable enough to go into the future.
And so are you saying these companies eventually are going to have to be merged into somebody else? They're going to go away, or they're going to fail? What are you saying here? And if you're saying Netflix is going to fail, stop the presses, man.
Well, you've asked a lot of questions, so let me first say this. I do think that some exit plans of these companies might be that they would be purchased by somebody else, or that they would have to have a complete overhaul, such as Netflix, because I think the programming is the main process by which this company has not really got a very positive future. I think that the business model is just very old. And most people, when you poll them about Netflix, they spend maybe 10 or 15 seconds on a movie and then decide that it's not for them. But the algorithm then builds that into your suggestions for future movies. So it's almost like a death spiral.
Do you know how many people that I know spent about 15 hours this weekend watching Stranger Things? I mean, it stopped my house cold. I didn't watch it. In fact, I fell asleep. But at any rate, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure I'd write their obit just yet in terms of their content, because when they have good content,
Tyler.
When they have good content, people tune in.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's an argument that, 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20, a home run like a venture capital investment might work. But let me also remind you that these stocks have been uncovered by an analytic process. It isn't just our opinions talking about Stranger Things, et cetera, but it's the way I look at these stocks, and I look at their EBITDA and their leverage and coverage, which are technical terms from the high yield bond market, actually. And when I see decreasing trends, I mean, there's no hiding of those. You can't hide from financial
From the numbers.
disclosure.
The numbers don't lie. No, I agree. One of the reasons we love you is you say stuff, man. I mean, there's nobody, the cardinal sin on television is to come on and say nothing, and we don't have to worry about that with you.
Well, there's a lot of talk therapy going on right now, for all of us, because there are I think we're so confused. Just if I can switch a bit to just where we are in this cycle, right?
Sure.
Inflation, all of it, the IPOs of certain SPACs. I mean, the dead bodies along the road for the past year, it's incredible. And I don't even know if we can assimilate all this data. So on top of that, we're trying to identify stocks, which is, devilishly complicated anyway. But in this environment where we really don't know where we are in terms of coming out of this horrible position, it just complicates matters even more. And I do think, identifying shorts, ironically, might be a little bit easier in this environment than identifying longs, simply because we've had 2 years of inflated attraction to some of these stocks that when you look at them in the bright sunlight, and you say, what is the potential for Peloton, for instance, to thrive when we all can go back to our gyms and health clubs? I think that most of us will say it's probably, seen its better day, and maybe it will be acquired. Who knows? But, they've hired McKinsey to help them out on how to convert and adapt to the new, emerging post-COVID. And I don't really have a lot of confidence in that.
Peter, we have to go, but I just want to mention, to illustrate your point, I think that's very well said, that it's almost easier to identify shorts than longs. Your longs are like Booz Hamilton and Sonova Holding. So,
Yes.
these are not your everyday FANG names. And again,
That's correct.
revenue growers identified through your process, and certainly not the names that we hear too much about. So we appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you. Anytime you want to hear the straight truth, just ping me and I'll let you know, Tyler, okay?
All right, man. That's good. Enjoy Stranger Things.
Okay.
We'll see you, man. Peter Andersen.
Thank you.
Didn't he go watch the Top Gun movie, or was he just doing?
I don't know. I didn't
Not
go watch
him,
the Top
Mac.
Gun. Mac.
Yeah.
No, Mac didn't really go. He didn't want Spider-Man.